We are representing Katapult Engineering. Our core focus is bringing reliable utilities to people.
We serve asset owners and engineering contractors, so it's usually the people trying to accomplish the work to get utilities built or maintained.
We started implementing EOS as a company in 2022.
Our arrogance and our pride really prevented us from wanting to accept that this was what we needed to do.
Most of the time when I find teams exploring EOS or that we connect with them for the first time, they have some skepticism, or at least they're wondering, can EOS really help us? Or Steve, do you know us and our company? We're unique compared to other companies, and most companies feel that way. It takes some time for them to kind of believe it.
Start of the implementation journey was me receiving an email saying, hey, you got to talk to my buddy Steve. He's solid. I ignore all emails like that. And then we started facing certain things in our growth phase where I could tell we weren't going to make it. And I just shot a note to Steve. I quickly read all the materials. I said, Drew, don't read any of the books. Just show up to the meeting. I think we should at least have this conversation.
Even though this feels like a challenge to our identity, we kind of shut down the emotional part and just said, like, let's think about this logically. This is exactly what we have to do.
EOS is a system that helps their human energy get aligned on their vision and then execute their vision at their best, all while protecting their healthy culture. So every company needs that, every system of people needs that, and that's what EOS does for businesses.
We were doing our best to be the two leaders in the whole company, and that's not enough.
We used to do exactly the thing EOS kind of tells you not to do, which was building the seat around the person. So Jeremiah was on cleanup system-wide, company-wide, which meant we naturally bottlenecked as a company on what Jeremiah could clean up. When we saw EOS, it embodied so much of the business culture that we really wanted, and it was organized by a type A personality into a system, and we were like, cool, someone has done the hard work of organizing what we already believe into a functional system. So we thought it best to learn from EOS how to organize those business concepts and cultural things into a working system. The number one thing we messed up in the beginning was we only communicated through L10s. So every issue had to bounce through 6 L10s to be able to get from one person to the next person. And we were like, oh, we're following EOS rules, that's how we have to do it. It was pretty quickly, we realized, like, no, that is not what EOS intends.
We thought it was rigid, and we were trying to play out a rigid solution. And Steve had to keep saying, no, it's more flexible than that. You guys use your brains, work with this.
Something I loved about what Katapult did in bringing Kevin on as the integrator is they really trusted the process. It was an annual goal for Jeremiah and the team to get him out of the integrator seat. So they committed to it. They were able to actually create traction around that decision and that journey. And then when they embraced the process, went right to the tools that are in the system and in Rocket Fuel.
The integrator transition and to step into that role and the responsibility of that seat to have shared definition and shared terms, all of those different types of things, and just to have the base tool set and how the business operates. So that was one less amount of water that you had to take from me specifically in my story coming in to this seat.
The onboarding of someone where they don't just have to learn everything through tribal knowledge.
Looking back, choosing EOS, we're going to always see that as a critical point where we finally had the confidence that the company could have a long-term existence and that it wouldn't fizzle and die somewhere in the short term.
Everything that I love to do as an implementer is help teams get the same success and freedom running their business that I did running a business with EOS before I became an implementer. That's why I do this job.
Steve shows up unbelievably prepared and is then willing to pivot as needed, real time, on the spot. So he's ready to do a structured approach or go with the flow if that's what's needed. And that's really important to bring, especially with our group.
EOS definitely has a setup that the company can persist, and we feel like even our business side can have a legacy moving into the future.